All right, music fans, welcome back. It is Dave, the Real Music Observer, observing real music in real time for real people just like you right there, and yours truly right here. In this video, I'm going to explain why I think Van Halen might be looking for a new vocalist. That is the topic of this video. It really doesn't take too much deduction to figure out that Eddie Van Halen wasn't too happy hanging out with David Lee Roth last time around. Dave was incessantly talking about dance music and so forth, and Eddie made some commentary about, like coloring your hair and trying to act younger than you are. And one thing I did like about what Eddie had to say was he was acting like a grown-up. He wasn't acting like this rock star where, you have to look a certain way. But look, Dave is all about showmanship and performance and all of that stuff. But between all of the things that Dave said about the kind of music he's getting into these days, and one friend of mine told me, how can anybody take him seriously? It just seems like, the elevator isn't getting quite up to the top floor when Dave opens his mouth sometimes. I find it very entertaining to listen to David Lee Roth talk. I liken it to a car wreck. You're constantly looking back at that car wreck to see what just happened. And with Dave, because you just don't know what he's going to say next, I think it's fascinating to listen to David Lee Roth. He was a radio personality for some time. Of course, that gig ended, and Eddie Van Halen eventually gave him a phone call. But here's the thing. Between the fact that Dave is a little bit of a loose cannon when he opens his mouth, and that they really have no way of reining him in, both off stage and on stage for that matter, okay? Because he can go off on some really weird storytelling things, and sometimes people are tuning out. They're like, just sing the dang song, Dave. And the other issue is, let's be honest, Dave hasn't been singing very well since this whole Van Halen thing revived itself with him as lead vocalist. I did think their album, A Different Kind of Truth, wasn't bad, considering your vocalist isn't what he used to be. I think they did some good stuff in the studio, and Dave was, he was serviceable. He was a decent vocalist on the album, wasn't embarrassing, but at times you listen to him on stage live these days, and he's talking through songs, he's skipping lyrics, he's making up things, and all of that is leading me to believe that maybe, believe it or not, Eddie might be looking for a vocalist. Now, of course, Sammy Hagar is out there making overtures left and right. They reached out to Alex Van Halen. This isn't the first time that Sammy has done that. Sammy says, no way, it's too late these days. But I guarantee if Eddie picked up the phone today and called Sammy and said, hey, I've been thinking, I don't know if he needs to apologize. I don't know what he needs to do, but my guess is Sammy would drop his Access TV show for a while and just head out on the road with the Van Halens and do another tour. But it doesn't seem that Eddie wants Sammy back in. I think Sammy is too much of his own planet. Things revolve around Sammy. He's also created so much goodwill between himself and pretty much everybody in the rock and roll world, which goes against Eddie, who's more or less a solitary man, a recluse, if you will. And I think their personalities don't jive. And I think that has something to do with it. So those are my reasons. I mentioned a great vocalist for Van Halen would be Jeff Scott Soto. He could sing both the Roth material and the Hagar material and pull it off. There are probably a few other vocalists out there who could do that. Bottom line is, maybe if Van Halen comes back, which apparently it's not going to be on their 40th anniversary. It seems as though this entire year is going to go by without much activity from Van Halen except Wolfie, whose album has been recorded and mixed. Not sure when it's going to drop, but I'm not sure who's singing on it. Is he singing on it? I mean, who knows? Is it instrumental? Does anybody know about Wolfie? But there's not that much excitement around Wolfgang Van Halen and his new album. So that's it for my video. I know I'm just kind of stating the obvious, but it could be that Eddie is searching for a vocalist as we speak. Or it could be Eddie is doing absolutely nothing and just enjoying his life, which he tends to do for long periods of time before reviving the Van Halen train. All right, done. I'll be back soon. See you then.